Alright, I don't want this video to be like the other videos I made. I want to talk about symptoms. I don't want to talk about tips. I want to go past what it's like and get to the heart of the matter. And I think the only reason why maybe you're watching this video is because, like me, you were afraid of the unknown, afraid of what was to come, what to expect, and maybe you are freaking out. Maybe you are getting to the worst case scenario, which is your symptoms are so bad that you have to go into the hospital and you're wondering, will I ever come out? Am I gonna make it through this? Will I get to see my family again? Is life going to continue for me? What is this going to be like when I walk through those doors? Since about maybe 9 or 10 o'clock last night, I had real sharp chest pains. I had a really bad asthma attack where I almost couldn't get it under control. I just feel constantly out of breath. I'm having a hard time talking now, so talk to the doctor and they want me to go into the hospital and get breathing treatments and x-rays. So it's really hard to go in and leave my family and wonder if I'm coming out. This was really hard to walk in without Jason. Just having trouble breathing. Nobody wants to get to that point, right? That's like worst case scenario, which is why I was doing breathing exercises. I was trying to stay calm. I was trying to stay up, stay active, stay off my back. I was trying to follow all the tips. It got so exhausting trying to follow everybody's advice. Lots of advice is great, it's good, but everybody's different, right? Everybody reacts differently, and there's not all that much known about this virus right now, which is why everybody's desperately searching for answers. And I'm not here to give you an answer or how it's all going to be better. I'm actually here to share that for me, it got to that worst case scenario. I felt like I was going to die. I probably will be fine. I'll probably make it through this. But my fear is that I'm gonna walk through the hospital doors and it'll be the last time. I need to calm down. I can't breathe enough. This is what I was trying not to do. I thought if I told the camera it would be easier. Straight up felt like this might be it. My symptoms got worse. There's lots of little flies flying around me, sorry. They got much worse. I could hardly breathe, hardly talk. And I was faced with that exact scenario of walking into the hospital and going, am I gonna walk back out? And what do I do? Knowing there's this big maybe on the table. That's what I want to talk to you about. So we're gonna skip all the fluff. We're gonna go straight to the main event, and we're gonna talk about the feelings of fear and what that experience was like and why I am so grateful for having this experience. Why I now look at coronavirus as a true gift from God. That's what's coming up. So stick around for today's video.
Sometimes life's biggest storms give you the most beautiful rainbows. We are chasing rainbows.
Alright, we're gonna have to go inside for me to tell this story because between the bugs attacking me and people mowing their lawns, I'm thinking this just isn't gonna work. So let's go in and then we'll sit down and we'll chat.
Brody, back up.
Alright, let's get to it, shall we? Alright, well, like I said, I want to skip all the fluff and get down to the core problem that all of us have when we are thinking about coronavirus. Fear, right? Fear of the unknown, not knowing what to expect. That's why we're looking for videos of people that have it, what doctors are saying. But if you're watching my video, you probably want to know what it's like from a patient perspective. I think maybe I thought in my head that it wasn't going to get that bad. If I did these things, if I took these steps, if I stayed active, if I stayed off my back, if I was doing breathing exercises, if I did this, did that, don't do this, don't do that, you get the idea, right? Yeah. Everyone's trying to avoid things they're afraid of. And my fear was that things would get so bad that I would be separated from my family. And maybe I wouldn't come back out. Because a lot of people are dying in the hospitals alone without their family. And that's horrifying, right? And I never thought about, like, what would I do if I got to that point? Like, to the day you decide to go into the hospital, what do? Because it may be, this is the worst maybe I've ever thought of, but it may be the last time you walk away from your family and you don't come back. And you just really don't know. You're just left with a big question mark. For me, that question mark became very real. And I say that coronavirus is totally a gift from God. And it really was, because it made me rethink how I live life, how I love, all the things maybe I wished I would have done differently. It just gave me a different perspective on my own life, but it helped me see things from a different point of view completely. It was like walking in somebody else's shoes. It was like it wasn't my own life, or I was watching my life possibly coming to an end, and I just wasn't prepared. I felt unprepared. There is nothing more scary when you are a person like me who plans out everything. I think through worst case scenarios, like what to do in those scenarios. Like, I take preventative steps to, prevent the worst case scenarios. I'm a planner to the core. This was unexpected. I don't know why, because I knew in the back of my mind, I knew this could be a possibility. I just thought, it can't happen to me, right? We all think that this can't happen to me. And then when it does, what do? On the night that it started to get really bad, I just knew something felt totally different and I needed to go get it looked at. And part of me wanted to fight it. I wanted to ignore it and just like, no, I can tough it out. I'm just gonna stay home. And it was on the weekend, so I'm like, I'm not gonna bother my doctor. I'll just wait till Monday and I'll just write it out. It'll be fine. That's what I keep telling myself. Just tough it out. It'll be fine. You'll get past this. It's all in your head. Just suck it up, and keep going. But then there's a part where things just leave your control and you're faced with a decision. You either ignore it and pretend like things aren't that bad and you don't get help, or you acknowledge it's a problem and you treat that problem. There's really no in between. And I knew that if I acknowledged it was a problem, I would have to go and do something about it. I am not good. being brave. Without Jason, without you, I don't know how to get through things. Oh, I do. And it's with God, and I know He's with me, and I know I'm not alone. So I don't want to let go of you or of Jayla. I don't want to see you for the last time or hug you for the last time. It's too soon. I don't want to walk inside the hospital doors and not walk back out. Okay, I feel like I'm getting totally lost in this. So, I don't want this to be like an hour-long video, but I really want you to understand what it was like to walk in to the hospital one way and come out a totally different person. Because I feel like my eyes were just opened to so many different things. And I'll get into that. But I want to read what I wrote in my journal today, because I think it will say it better than I can just trying to wing it here. So, here we go. Getting corona feels almost scarier than cancer. There's no planned course of action. There are no treatment options. All hospitals have to offer is a bed, an inhaler, an oxygen mask, or lastly, to be put on a ventilator. All your resources and comforts of home, family and friends are taken away, and you're expected to face the fight alone, and with nothing but your cell phone, charger, glasses, and that may be it. I believe God allowed me to get hit with all the symptoms of corona, to fully experience what people go through, so I can have empathy and understanding for those who go through this. But I also believe God used me and my symptoms to get me in the doors of the hospital, into the COVID unit, and beside people who were too sick to utter a prayer for themselves. He got me in there so that the people who were dying and suffering were not alone. We may have been separated by walls, but there is power in presence, and there is power in prayer. And I knew as soon as I got back there, I was not in that hospital for me, that God was going to help me breathe again, so I could pray for others who couldn't pray for themselves, or for those who didn't have God in their lives to help them. You see, God only goes where He's invited. God is with those who ask Him to be there. I've already invited God into my life. That's why He was with me, and that's why He still is with me. And for those who don't ask, God sends others to come alongside you because He loves you. He wants you. He's pursuing you. He is hoping and praying you will want Him in your life, not just to save it. Regardless, with Jesus, even if we lose our physical life, we can have everlasting life with Him and through Him. And also, you will never be alone again. I truly believe that as Christians, God is calling us to go into those worst case scenarios, to put ourselves, willingly place ourselves amongst people who need Him. The doctors and nurses are overwhelmed. My poor nurse was overwhelmed with the amount of patients she had and just the struggle all around. They need our support. I believe that God let me feel and experience what others are experiencing right now as we speak. There are some people that are going to go in that aren't going to have the luxury of walking back out like I did. Being in that hospital was nothing like I've ever experienced before. In the hospital, getting checked out. This is like a war zone. There was so much fear, so much pain, crying, vomiting, gasping for air, and even somebody that completely flatlined next to me. And I sat in my room and felt overwhelmed. It was like I literally sensed God's heart for these people. And I knew it wasn't there for me anymore. It was no longer about me and my struggle. All I could hear and see and feel were the struggles going on around me between the doctors, the nurses, the staff, the patients. It was just utter turmoil and chaos. And there was no peace except for in my room, because God was with me. And I knew that God was going to give my breath back in me to breathe those prayers that people couldn't pray for themselves, like I read there. I knew that that's why I was there. So I sat and I prayed. We need to start praying for healthcare workers and people. This is crazy. Jesus, please help them right now. Help them. And when I heard all the alarms going off, and I heard the doctors and nurses trying to revive the man that was next to me, and you heard that long beep that says that they're gone, I can hear their desperation of yelling this man's name and telling him to breathe and him not responding. I prayed, I texted Jason, and I texted a friend, and I said, please pray for this man that's next to me. And then the beeping resumed, and he breathed. And it was after that I met my sweet nurse, Christine, who was a true angel. Man, I know she had just been put through complete hell. Like, just, how do you walk out of that and just go help the next person? But that's what she was doing. That's what she has to do. She had no time to think or breathe in between patients. God is calling us as believers to pray for these doctors, nurses, and staff, but also the patients. And sometimes that means becoming a patient, being willing to go where God calls us, and literally sitting there with these people that have no one. I was like, God, let me hear what's going on so I know how to pray. Tell me what to pray. Tell me how to pray. I felt so guilty for leaving. I felt guilty that I got to leave. I was thankful that the people around me seemed to be more stable when I left. And whether that was because of prayers I prayed or not, I don't know. But I know I felt God's heart for those people. His care, His concern, His love for those people. I know a lot of us feel like God is not answering in this pandemic. Why won't you stop this? He is trying to meet each of those people. He cares about the lost, the lonely, the hurting, the brokenhearted, and His heart breaks for them. And I felt that in there. I felt that that he was going after the people that maybe don't know him. He was seeking them out. God comes after us if we don't go to him. And maybe you've asked God to heal you, save you, and maybe you're just not praying the right prayer. God wants to be a part of your life. He wants to save all of you and be with you. He wants a relationship with you. He is seeking more and wants more for you, because if he just gives you back your physical life here on earth, you might just go back living life without him. And then you might miss out on eternity with him. He wants all of you, the here and the now and the later and what's to come. I just really want that to be the message that I send. God's message, his heart for his people. To send the message to people that already believe in him, that we are called to be his hands and feet, to go out to help those that don't know him and share his message. Whether that means we do it in good health, in bad, in our struggles, or in our worst moments of life, we are leading by example. We are shining God's light through how we live. And for those of you that don't know God, he is coming after you. He is there. He wants to be with you. All you have to do is invite him in. And he will be there, and you'll never be alone again. I could go on and talk about so much more. There's so much I saw, and I'll just never be the same because of it. And I don't want to be the same. I want to live life different. I want to live life better. And I want to live life with purpose. And I want that for you too. And I hope that me sharing my story, God's story, and God's heart, that maybe it would shed a little light on what his plan has been all along, since the beginning. Ephesians 3:9, the Message version, says, "My task is to bring out in the open and make plain what God, who created all this in the first place, has been doing in secret and behind the scenes all along." God has been there all along. He is just waiting for you to see him, know him, believe in him, invite him in. I also wrote down Ephesians 3:12-13, also the Message version. I'm totally into the Message version right now. It says, "When we trust him, we're free to say whatever needs to be said, bold to go wherever we need to go. So don't let my present trouble on your behalf get you down. Be proud." I'll leave you with that. Don't feel bad for my present trouble. Be proud. And next time I see you, I will look so forward to saying hello versus saying goodbye. And until then, I look forward to chasing more rainbows with you. Bye for now. Thanks for watching today's video. Please support my channel by subscribing and give this video a thumbs up so YouTube shares it with other people who need it. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram and check out my family's channel at Rising Up. The link is in the description. Also, be sure to check out my website, umbrellaofsupport.com, for resources for miscarriage, stillbirth, child loss, infertility, special needs children, adoption, and foster care. Remember, life is done better in community.